Hello my friends, this is going to be part 2 of the luxury Q&A that I started on Thursday. So if you have not seen part 1, I will make sure to have it linked down below for you, where you can catch up on all the Hermes topics that we already discussed, including some of my best Hermes shopping tips, which pieces to buy, which ones not to, some of my most and least favorite Hermes bags, and the list goes on. But today we're going to be picking up where we left off. So if you'd like to join the conversation, then make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and keep on watching. Criteria for being selected for a special order at Hermes. So if you're not familiar with special order, a la carte, or horseshoe stamp bags, they're basically a chance for an Hermes client to create their dream bag. They can do these twice a year, so you can usually do it once in the fall or in the spring. And Hermes, each boutique only has a handful of bags that they can offer each season, so it is quite competitive and it can be quite selective. But if you get selected for doing a special order bag, you can choose from the Hermes portfolio. You can choose most of their bags that are currently in production. So most people will do Birkins, Kellys, and sometimes Constance's, but in theory you can choose any one of Hermes's bags that is still in production. You can choose the size, you can choose the structure, you can choose the color, the leather, the lining, the stitching, and even the strap length, and of course the hardware too. And then you can also have your bags monogrammed, which is not something that you have to do when you're placing your special order. Most Hermes leather pieces, unless they're made of exotic skin, can be monogrammed anytime. So that's just something good to know. If you have a bag that you would like to spice up, you can actually have it monogrammed by Hermes. But that's basically what you have to know about the special order experience. I would say that it is good to have at least a couple, if not few bags, quota bags in your collection, not only because it will help you stand out from the crowd. Usually these bags are offered to people who already have their basics covered. So, you know, if you only like small bags and really colorful bags and you already have some of them in your collection, it's possible that Hermes will offer you a special order bag because they can no longer satisfy your craving for new colors or new sizes. And it's also great to know what you love and what you dislike before placing a special order bag, mainly because special order bags usually won't get offered to the same people every single season. I mean, it also depends on where you shop, but usually they won't be offered to the same people every single season. So you do not want to waste this opportunity on ordering something that you won't really like. You want to know what are the details that you would like to highlight and enhance and focus on, and which are the features that you're not a fan of. So let's say if you don't have a Kelly bag and you're thinking, hey, I'm gonna order a special order Kelly bag, and it turns out that you're not really a Kelly kind of person, well, that's a special order bag wasted. Because let's be honest, you can order the most outrageous, most ridiculous, most colorful, most mind-blowing bag. If it's not something that you'll ever use, it's not gonna be that special. I mean, it will be special, but it won't be special for the right reasons. I think what makes a bag incredibly special for you, the owner of the bag, is if it's something that you are genuinely able to use, if it brings a smile to your face, if it's something that you can pull out and every time you use it, your heart skips a beat. I think that makes a bag a lot more special than something that you're not really able to use. So I would say that you have to be an experienced Hermes client. It's good to have a few Hermes bags in your collection, Kellys, Birkins, Constance's, things that you can experiment with and figure out what are the things that you definitely want to do when it comes to a special order bag. If you want a longer or shoulder strap, do you want a celly or a return bag? These are things that are good to figure out before it comes to you placing your special order. And in general, these are going to go to people who have been shopping with the brand and the same boutique for a few years. Is there a size between the mini Kelly and the Kelly 25? By the way, new to your channel and I love it. Thank you so much and welcome. Great question. Officially, there isn't. Technically, there is. So some things that you could look into are the original mini Kelly, or the original Kelly 20, the vintage version, which is no longer in production, which is a bag that came both in celly and return structure. And even though those bags also measured 20 centimeters, they were a lot taller and a lot more spacious. So if you're looking for a bag size in between, that's something you could look into. If you're looking for a bag with a little bit more room inside, you might want to check out my comparison video of the Kelly Pochette and the mini Kelly, because the Kelly Pochette does feel a lot more spacious, a lot more roomy. There's a lot more that you can fit into the Kelly Pochette just because the structure is inherently more forgiving and easier to use. So the Kelly Pochette is another bag that you could look into. And then another bag that you could look into is the recently re-released Kelly Elan clutch bag, which comes with a short strap. It is a lot less dimensional than an actual Kelly bag. It is a lot thinner. It's just basically a flat shoulder bag. But if you are looking for something that is just in between a mini Kelly and a Kelly 25, that is a bag that's currently available directly from the boutique. So is the Kelly Pochette. And then you could look either on the Preloved market or at auction houses to see if there are any vintage mini Kellys that pique your interest. G, what's your thoughts on the 2424 mini? Thanks. I don't think about it much, I have to be honest with you, and that is because there is just something off about the 2424 bag. It's a bag that in theory I should love. In fact, I remember when it first walked down the runway, I immediately reached out to my advisor at the time and I told her that I need this bag no matter what. And I was extremely disappointed when it hit the stores a year later. There was just something, I cannot quite put my finger on what it is, but there is something off about these bags. I don't know if it's the proportions. I don't know if it's the fact that the flap of the bag is made of a really hardy, thick, sort of structured leather and structured material, yet the body of the bag is really soft and squishy. I don't exactly know what it is. Maybe it's the fact that the bag leans forward. There's something off about the proportions. But if you're interested, the 2424 bag does come in 3 different sizes at this point. The largest size is the 2424-35. It's a bag that doesn't come with a shoulder strap. Then you have 2424-29, which comes with a short removable shoulder strap, most similar to the strap that you get with your Kelly bags. The reason I didn't love that, well, let me walk you through the different bags and why I didn't get each one. The 35 didn't come with a shoulder strap, which was an immediate turn off for me. If I'm going to be buying a single top handle bag, I do want there to be the option of a shoulder strap, which there isn't with this bag in size 35. When it comes to the 29 bag, the shoulder strap actually gets attached to the back of the bag, which means that when you start carrying this bag on your shoulder, the back tilts forward in a really awkward way, which I don't think is acceptable when you're spending this much money on a bag. And then when it comes to the 24-21, which is the one that you're asking about, the new mini size, there is a long, really thin strap, which allows you to turn this bag into multiple different designs. You can turn this into a backpack, a belt bag. You don't actually have to use the strap. You can use it on its own as a clutch bag. You can, I think some people also make this into a crossbody bag, which I don't think really works because the strap is so thin. To be honest with you, the first thing that comes to mind when I think of the 24-24 bag is awkward. There's just something awkward about this bag. And please let me know what you guys think. What are your thoughts? I think it looks great on some people. I was at like a random store the other day and someone walked in with a 24-24 bag and it looked really great on her, but I was just thinking to myself, you know, for this kind of money, this design should be a lot more refined. So it's just simply not my most favorite bag from Hermes. You know, if someone threw it at me, would I be, threw it at me, meaning that they would throw it at me as a gift, would I be mad about it? No, I would not. I would certainly find a place for it in my collection, but would I go out of my way to get my hands on one of these bags? I have to be honest, I really don't think so. Will you sell any of your Hermes bags? So I have sold a handful of bags over the years. At this moment, there isn't a bag that I'm thinking of parting ways with. I'm pretty content with my current collection. I'm trying to think if there's even anything that I would be open to selling. Not really. The only thing that I have been toying with the idea of parting ways with is some of my rodeos. I do have some rodeos which I haven't used in a couple of years. So I have one in blue, I have one in capucine, which is an orange shade, and then I also have one in burnt cypress. So if you're interested in picking up a rodeo, any one of those rodeos, send me an email. One thing that I have to say is that obviously all of them I have used and played around with, and I don't think I have the original box for most of those pieces, but if you wanted one, I'm sure I could find a box for you. But yeah, bags, I am not selling any one of my current bags right now, and when it comes to anything else, yeah, those rodeos are the only thing that I could personally think of, but it's not something that I am actively selling. Okay, we have a two-part question here. You think an advisor will expect you to spend more to get your second quota bag? I feel like after I got my first offer, my advisor began to offer me a lot more expensive items. Great question. It's something that I should do an updated video on. I think I'm going to do a video on how to get your second bag or how to ask for your second bag with tips and tricks. I don't think that you're expected to spend more or less. I think you're expected to buy things that you want. Personally, I do think that getting your first bag is always the most difficult. That's just my personal experience and the experience of my close friends, because I feel like when it comes to getting your first bag, you're just kind of shooting in the dark. You're not really sure what you're doing, but once you have accomplished getting your first bag, you realize that, hey, it's something that can be done. So from that point of view, I do think that getting your first bag is the most difficult. Asking for your second one, it can be tricky. It depends on what you ask for and how you would like to approach that, but I don't really think that you have to start from the ground up. It's not like you have to spend just as much as you had to for your first bag. It's not even something that you should keep track of. Buy things that you genuinely want. Don't go out of your way to outspend yourself and outspend others. Do not buy things just for the sake of buying things. Genuinely buy things that you're interested in. It's possible that your advisor now knows that you are serious about Hermes and you were not just there to get a single bag. So now they're offering you more unique, more interesting pieces that perhaps they didn't do before. So I don't think you're expected to buy anything that you don't want, but stay tuned. There is a more in-depth video coming. It's something that I would love to share with you some of my experience with. Do you know the average spend of the VIPs and VVIPs at Hermes? I can compete. So when it comes to, other people's spending, it's not something that I'm an expert on. I don't believe in digging in anyone's pocket, and this is not talking to you. I'm just talking about, in general, why I don't really talk about money and commission. I do talk about the pricing of Hermes bags just because I think it's helpful if you're interested in any one of these bags. It can be information that is quite hard to find online, so that's why I find it so important to discuss the pricing of bags. But when it comes to someone's personal spending, it's not something that I am really familiar with. And when it comes to competing, there is no point. You shouldn't compete, and most people cannot compete, because I always find it so strange when someone goes into Hermes and they say, I have spent this amount of money and I'm still waiting for my bag. I have bought this and this and this, yet I'm still waiting on the bag that I wanted. Well, I can tell you that there are probably 100 people out there who spent a lot more than you did. You can never compete with anyone, and you really shouldn't feel like you have to. But talking about money was the most that I've ever heard. Yeah, I mean, I've heard of people who spend around $1 million a year, usually at larger boutiques, on things other than bags, because they have, custom ready-to-wear pieces made. They make, custom pieces for their homes. So spending, $1 million and upwards on an annual basis is not something that's unheard of at larger flagship boutiques. And I'm not saying it because that's what you should aspire to spend. You do whatever you want with your own money, but you shouldn't feel like that it's something that you have to compete with. How many quota bags you need to purchase before you get offered a rock, shadow, or exotic bag? It is a tough question because it's not like there is a rule for this, that you need to have this many Birkins, this many Kellys in these shades, in these sizes for you to qualify for getting a so-called exceptional bag, like a rock, a shadow, or an exotic bag. It's not an exceptional bag, it is an exotic bag. And in case you're not familiar with the hierarchy of Hermes bags, it starts with non-quota bags, so these are going to be your traditional Hermes bags, things like Evelyn, Lindy, G.P.S, her bag, and the list goes on. Then you have your quota bags, so Birkins, Kellys, Constances, and I would include the entire Kelly franchise here. So Kelly Pochettes, Kelly Cuts, Kelly Alens, even though those are not technically quota bags, they are quite hard to find at this point. Then you will have your tier of exotic bags, which includes regular and quota bags made of exotic skins, and then on top you're going to have your exceptional bags, which I am by no means saying that one is better than the other and you're superior if you have this one over this one. I am purely just going from the least to the rarest bags when it comes to Hermes. One is not better than the other, but that's kind of the hierarchy of Hermes bags. I mean, I would say that it's quite tough to get any one of these bags if you don't have a long relationship with the brand. These bags are certainly reserved for their clients who the brand knows has a true appreciation for Hermes's heritage. So, you know, you definitely have to have a little bit of a relationship with the brand, but it's not like you have to buy a certain amount of bags or a certain amount of this and that for you to get one of these bags offered. I think it's more about the passion that you have for the heritage and for the design. So if you're interested in any one of these bags, make sure that you express that interest. You know, these are bags that not everyone wants because they tend to be a lot more expensive than regular Hermes bags. So it is an acquired taste, and if it's something that you're truly interested in, there is genuinely no harm in asking. It might take a little while, but if it's truly a dream of yours, it is certainly worth waiting for. Can you share what it's like doing luxury YouTube behind the scenes? What an interesting question again. I mean, it is quite a large topic. I feel like it's something that I could actually do a dedicated video on. If there is anything that you guys would be interested in, let me know in the comment section. It's definitely something that I feel like deserves its own dedicated video. So just leave your questions in the comment section for me and I can definitely share whatever you're interested in. Would love a video on how to obtain non-quota bags. I have my heart set on an HSS 40 and a Geta bag. Really simple. Do ask. At this point, I don't think that any one of these bags are easier to get than a quota bag, and it's not because there are that many people waiting for these bags. I mean, I'm sure that there are people who are interested in these particular pieces, but purely because Hermes isn't like other brands. They don't have a ton of bags in excess. They don't have a huge stock. They usually get, you know, a couple of these pieces each season, and it also depends on what your local boutique purchased. So do ask. Don't feel like that, you know, you're not qualified or you don't deserve to buy any one of these bags. Go in, ask, and your best source of information is the person you shop with. So, you know, if you have obviously a relationship with the brand, that is certainly going to help you, but if you don't ask, you won't know. I am looking for my first Hermes SLG. What should it be? So I have just done a video on where to start your Hermes collection in case you are new to Hermes, so you could definitely check that video out. It depends on what type of SLG you're looking for. When it comes to SLGs, I don't know if it's just me, but I always think of a card holder or a wallet, which are not things that I use that often these days. So I actually gave you a different recommendation in my last video, but I would say it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for a really, really simple card holder, the Covey is something that you cannot go wrong with. They come in a ton of different leathers, some beautiful shades. So it will give you a great idea for Hermes's leathers and colors. but it is a really simple design. Something that I do love from Hermes, which is a lot more elaborate, is their Kelly pocket, which can be tough to find. They don't do that much of it these days, but you could certainly ask about the Kelly pocket. And then if you don't mind spending quite a bit of money at Hermes, the Kelly wallets are some of my most favorite and most used pieces from Hermes. And someone did ask in my last video, well, underneath my last video, if you can fit an iPhone into your Kelly wallet, and you can fit an iPhone, a regular iPhone, into the Kelly wallet. So I do have the iPhone 13, which fits perfectly into all of my Kelly wallets. I mean, you guys know that I'm not known for being concise, but I was particularly chatty today. I've been here answering questions for a couple of hours now, so I feel like I need a nap after this. But what matters is that I was able to get to more of your questions. I hope you found it helpful and you got something out of it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. I really appreciate you being here and watching, and I hope to see you back here with a new video really, really soon.